everybody. Sorry about the delay. We just had to do a quick internet speed. Hi, Anne. Hi, Andra. How is everybody today? Hope everybody is well and ready to get stuck into Finish It Friday. I did a speed test just before we came on. Apparently, I've got good internet, so we shouldn't drop out at all with any luck. So, we are here for Finish It Friday yet again, and I have managed to get my stuff done. Thank goodness. I didn't dilly-dally this week. I just got straight into it. So hopefully I can get through this live as quick as possible so no one has to toddle off to bed or anything like that. So, yeah, I'm going to keep it pretty short today, under the hour, because I've got a lot to get done for the retreat that we've got coming up. And for those that are new here to the channel, my name's Nicole Reed, and Tech Beck is in the background, frantically writing things down because I've obviously forgotten to tell her some stuff. No, this is all good. She's not feeling well today. She's got a cold again, so she's going to probably be fairly quiet. So, yeah, I had pulled out a couple of things last week. I can see all our regulars are here. Benita and Rebecca and Carol's here from Arizona. So thank you very much for joining me, ladies. I really do appreciate it. It's a little bit chilly here this morning, so I'm a bit rugged up, and hopefully my nose won't start running again. It's been running like a tap as soon as it goes cold weather. Andra says, hope you feel better soon, Tech Beck. Good morning, Paula. How are you? Alrighty, so last week we got something out of the UFO box, and we're getting on to our bigger projects this week as well. So I had a bowl cozy to get done. I managed to get that done. It's all finished and ready to go. Beck reckons I should start selling them because they're multiplying in our UFO box. And I also had a orphan block as such. It was a Dresden plate. So I didn't end up doing this until yesterday after the sewing machine guy had been to repair my machine because I wanted to put it through the paces while he was still here. So I've done some decorative stitching. I just did a blanket stitch around the circle, and then I've stitched down the Dresden plate around the outside, and then I've just quilted it around the outside. And I just did that as quilt as you go to make it super, super easy, super, super quick. And then I just put a striped binding on that. I was going to use it as a placemat, but I agree with you, ladies. It is far too pretty to... so I'm actually going to put this up on my wall. I don't actually, apart from the one behind me, I don't have a single Dresden up. And I did this years ago. I've got a table runner that I did exactly the same, and this was just a leftover Dresden from it. The technique that I used for this particular Dresden plate was the Missouri Star Quilt Company one that they use with their 5-inch charm pack. So it's super easy. It's the same technique that they used for this one behind me as well. So it makes it super easy and super quick to do. And yeah, so that's what I've done. It's all finished now. It's out of the UFO box, and I'm super happy about that because it is slowly getting down. We still have a couple of boxes under my long arm machine to go through, but they're really big projects. So Beck has somewhat went diving this morning and was struggling a bit, so I just jumped in and grabbed something out. I pretty much just put my hand in and pulled out the first thing that I had. Am I going to be kicking myself? Probably, because it's a pretty big week this week. I've got 3 quilts to get done this week, as well as this Finish It Friday. So this may be a 2-part mini-series. We'll just have to wait and see. So a couple of years back, anybody that's come to classes will probably recognize some of these blocks. I'll just grab them. A couple of years ago, I did a block of the month, and they weren't just all a regular size. They were irregular. So some blocks were 20 inches, some blocks were 10 inches, some blocks were 6.5 inches. And then we just improvised the end of the quilt and how we put it together. So we brought in other little blocks, some of our favorites and all that sort of stuff. I didn't do that. I just helped the ladies do that. I just helped them get their blocks done and just done a couple of things. So, oh yay, Katrina! Sorry to go off topic. Katrina is cast free. Woohoo! Awesome! You'll be back sewing before you know it. So we had little ones like, little pinwheels that we'd done. We also had this particular one. This was a Missouri Star Quilt Company block that I did. It was out of the Block magazine. So, I mean, this could be a table topper if I wanted to, but it was part of the quilt. So that's got little pinwheels in it. Then this one was another one that I had done as well. There is this one. This one's cute. I like this one. It looks like a little flower. It's so cute. And look at the fabric on it. It's got little hexagons on it. I couldn't even tell you what the name of that fabric is. And then there's this one, which is like another version of a pinwheel. And then we've got two of these blocks. And this was another Missouri Star Quilt Company one as well, out of their Block magazine. So I've got all those blocks. I've got to assemble them into a quilt, and then I've got to quilt it and get the binding on. But as I said, it may be a 2-part mini series on this one, because I've got 3 quilts that I've got to get done this week. So I'm going to be super busy. I'm working all weekend. So yeah, I won't be around on the social medias very much. I'll be at the long arm machine, but that's what I've got to do this week. I've got to get it together. Whether or not I add other little blocks into it or not, I probably won't do that, because that's just going to add to the pressure of getting the quilt done. I possibly will just put sashing in that and fill it all up and turn it into a lap quilt for in the lounge room, because the kids don't really need any more quilts, and it'll sort of go with my lounge room because it's got the red and the grey in it. So that's what I'm going to do. How it's going to go together, well, that's going to be a mystery. So I'll have to get out the sketchbook and start placing and do some math this weekend and get that sorted. And then I will endeavour to get that quilted up and patchworked up and then ready for quilting. And then I'll probably do a little video on whatever I do on it. So that is what I've got to do. Am I kicking myself? Yes. Benita's asking if you've been back on the long arm machine. No, she hasn't.
I haven't.
We've been super busy with retreat and stuff. Yeah. So like I didn't even get on the long arm machine this past week either. I've had a few quilts come in. So I've got to get cracking on that, and I want to get most of the ones that were sitting there before the week that I took off from it. It just helps if we just focus on one thing at a time. And the retreat's only 2 weeks away from today. Is it next week?
No, it's not next week.
No, it's all right. Sorry.
It's 2 weeks.
I just freaked back out.
I know, because I've got Kyla at school camp that week too.
Oh yeah, well I've got Neralee's at Dreamworld that week, the day that we leave. So yeah, it's all happening here that weekend.
Can't keep up with it all.
So basically, no, I didn't quilt, and Beck hasn't been on the long arm machine either. Beck probably won't get onto the long arm machine again now until we get another quilt together for her. I'm going to get her to maybe do a couple of panels and stuff like that over the next couple of months. We don't have another retreat until November, so it gives us a really good break there to just play around and stuff like that. We've got school holidays will be in June, July, so that usually gives Beck time to just relax and do some stuff, do some stitching and stuff like that. I've got a few projects I wanted to try just to move her along a little bit further, but we've had sick kids and Beck's been crook and all that, so she still hasn't got her binding on. So before we move on, I really like Beck to move on to doing the binding. So it's another little thing that she has learnt to do. Oh, excellent! The book you ordered the other day is already at your place. Oh my God, I wait weeks for stuff to come. That's awesome, Andra. I'm glad that it's come. Have you had a chance to look through it yet? And for those that are wondering what book I'm talking about, last Monday I did a book review, and Beck, I think it's just under my diary actually. I did a book review on Angela Waters' Shape by Shape, and I popped a couple of links under the video in the group. No, the one underneath it. In the for Kindle, and also for the hard copy. So it was Shape by Shape that I did the review on, and I just take you through the book and show you the different things in there. This is one of my go-to resources, and there's also another book of hers that I'm reviewing in the coming months. of hers as well. And basically it's really good because it gives you, like, go and have a look at it. Beck will pull up the link for the review, and I just go through and it shows you the different shapes. And as you can see from the cover, she gives you some really good ideas. Now, I've been quilting for many years, and sometimes I just get stuck, and I get this book out, and I get the other books of Angela Walters and a few other people's as well, and I pull them out and I have a look, and it just gives me a little bit of inspiration on how to proceed with the quilt. And a lot of the time I do it for my own quilts, because I reckon about 98% of the time I very rarely know how to quilt my own quilts. Customers' quilts come in, they give me a general idea and I can run with that, but sometimes I just get stuck and don't know what to do for my own. It's an awesome book. Like, it is definitely a resource book. If you get a chance, Andra, grab out some pencil and paper and have a practice of doing some of the shapes on there as well. Awesome to do that before you get onto your machine. It just gives you a little bit of muscle memory as well. So that's another thing that I like to do before I tackle any quilt that I'm doing new shapes or drawings with. I have all the paper that we have left over. I've got a drawer. And we just put it in there, and when I want to practice a new design, whether it be pebbles, if I haven't done pebbles for a long time, or swirls, something that I have done in the past but I haven't done it for ages, I'll just grab out that scrap paper and I'll grab out that my colouring in pencils, and I'll just play around. For me, when I'm doing it on the long arm, I move my arms as opposed to moving the pencil, and I always suggest that for when you're doing any sort of quilting, just move your arms and hold the pencil as if you were moving the machine or moving your fabric. But yeah, if you haven't had a chance to go and have a look at that, I put that up last Monday. So it's a great book, and the links are in the Facebook group and also over on kit.com. You'll find them there for both Kindle and the hard copy. All right, let's put that out of the way. Alrighty, so what's everybody else working on for their Finish It Friday this week? Beck, can you tell me why I can't see what everyone's chatting about? I can see the chat, but only a few ladies up. There's not that much in the chat at the moment, Kayleen, but if you refresh your screen, it possibly could just refresh your browser, and that possibly could fix it. If not, you may have to log in. Log out and log back in again. Sometimes YouTube plays funny games with the chat. So yeah, even I've had trouble in the past, and that's all I do. All right, so I have my Finish It Friday. I will have to put that somewhere where I can see it. And I've done all that, so that can go up on the wall now, and the bowl cozy can go into the kitchen. I think I've got about... How many do you reckon I've got in there? About 10?
Oh my God.
We just keep finding them everywhere, and I think Beck found another one that all I've got to do is top stitch the other day too. I think it's behind the vintage machine up there. On that, I should have done that the other day. Can you sit that on machine? I'll do that today. Excuse me. So I think it's underneath the pattern up there. So yeah, these things are breeding in my UFO box. Oh, yeah. Is it sitting up there? There's another one up there. Oh my God.
Week before I found that.
Yeah.
Said, oh, yeah,
give us a look what's got to be done on it.
Yeah, it's just going to be top stitched, I think.
So you can see this one's been it's looking a bit flat. This one's been sitting in the bottom of my UFO box with everything on it, and all I have to do is top stitch it closed. I don't know why it's not finished. It's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. It must have got caught up in a project or something and I didn't realise. So Wendy is saying that she's finishing her quilt today for the 1st of July. Okay, so you can see now. Awesome. I'm in work jail. Oh no, Benita. Oh no.
She's in work jail, but she's joining in on
I've seen a it's the bowl cozy rabbit den. It pretty much is. Like,
they multiply like rabbits.
Beck goes in there. She goes, oh, another bowl cozy. Oh, another bowl cozy. I'm like, oh my God. So that's another one that I'll get finished. It's just ridiculous. Hopefully there is no more. But then, as I said, there is, because what happened was the reason why I have so many bowl cozies is I used to sell them at the market. So I forever had UFOs of bulk cozies there, and I would just cut a heap when I was cutting of any leftover fabric or anything like that. I would just cut them ready to go. So if I had a quilt that I was finishing, I would cut the leftover batting from that and have that in piles. I would cut leftover fabrics from the end of quilts and stuff like that, and or leftovers from the quilt tops, and I'd sit them in piles. So that's why I've got a lot of them. I thought that I got all of them, but obviously I didn't. Beck's going, no, you didn't. And I'm starting to think that Beck may be making them, like putting them, cutting up fabrics and sneaking them in.
Little fairies that come at night time and
yeah, that's it. Oh dear me. Alrighty. So I've got all that completed. I've got more bowl cozies to do, and I've got a quilt to do. So we'll just move on to block of the month coming out this week. So you would have seen that one. Where is it? It's hiding over here. So this one is the block that we did. So you can see that. It looks like a Maltese star. Super easy block to do. There was a little bit of a hiccup with the file. For some reason, the website kept putting up the wrong one, but we got it sorted out in the end. And this super, huh?
Is that one of mine already?
No, it's one of mine. So yeah, no, actually, I think you did do.
Oh, it looks like
yeah.
one that I did.
Beck helped me out with all these. We can't remember which one she's done. I've done some of them.
I did the more basic ones.
Yeah, the more basic ones. So yeah, so this one goes together super easy. The tips and tricks that I put in there, really pay attention to those because it does make a difference with this one. As I said, it looks like a Maltese cross and super easy. The link's under this video. If you haven't seen it yet, go over and have a look. And also the playlist for the block of the month is there. I've had a few inquiries of where to find the other blocks. A lot of people don't use playlists, but I do have them there, all in the playlist. So it makes it super easy. And start from the beginning if you're new to it. Shay got hers up again. She is on fire, that girl, for foundation paper piecing. It is very different. It's one of my favorites too, Benita. I really like it. I'm a little bit partial to star. It's almost like a cross, but it looks like a star at the same time. So it's a combination of the two. It is one of my favorites. I really do like it. And I'll hopefully you'll get in and have a go. There's a few more similar to this one coming. The one thing I do want to mention about the block of the month, when you print off the files, you might find that the numbers are actually different. They don't go in numerical order on the channel. I'm just releasing them in degree of difficulty to mix it up a little bit, so it wasn't just all real basic blocks at the beginning of the series. So I'm just sort of mixing it up a little bit. So if you do see a page that you've printed off and like this one has block 11, that's what it is in the pattern, but on the channel I put it up as block 5 just to mix it up a little bit. So just keep an eye on that. Don't panic. Don't think that you've got the wrong block. Although this week we did have issues with the wrong one going up. 3 times I put up the one that we're working on, and 3 times we got a different block going up. So we sorted it out in the end, and thanks to Linda for bringing that to my attention. Hopefully there'll be no more problems. Now, there was some other issues with people not being able to get the layout page to print off or the colouring in page. The link is there, but if you're on your iPad or your phone, it sometimes won't let you download it. So you will actually have to go to the website via your browser and then download it that way. I do get people to check it on Apple products and on Android, and we do seem to have no issues at the time of publishing, but it just depends on your device that you're using. So my suggestion is that you actually put in the web address into open Chrome up and put in the web address, and people seem to be not having issues that way. But if you're using the link from the YouTube channel and going straight to that, it seems to be just giving everybody with Apple products and or mobile phones some major issues. So if you still have any issues in downloading the templates or anything, just send me an email at Ask Me .dds@gmail.com, and I can talk you through it, or if we're still having problems, I'll just flick you the files. I had to do that for a couple of ladies. You can also, Bonita's saying that she has to use her laptop. Yeah, that seems to be the issue. I am in talks with my website about trying to work out something different. It may be that we just use file share, and then that way we shouldn't have any problems. But I'm going to keep it on the blog at the moment because it just keeps everybody in the one place, and it just makes it a little bit easier to find. But as I said, if you are having any problems, just send me an email to askme.dds@gmail.com. And also, if you're on Facebook, you can always send me a DM, and I have sent the files that way as well. I do have to be on my computer for that, so if I'm out and about at the time, I can't do it straight away. But yeah, I did do that for a lady yesterday. I just sent her all the files because she was having so much problems with it. And yeah, we got it sorted in the end, and she's merrily trying paper piecing for the first time. So that's Lynn Holmes was having issues yesterday, so she's getting into that. Alrighty, so that has gone up. We've got the Macrame Bracelet going up next week. I'm still filming that. I had a major problem with my filming. I forgot to press play, so I've had to redo it again. And we also had a bit of a blowout with my macrame cord. I've got a brand new roll of, I'll show you what it looks like. I'm back. Okay, so I got a nice brand new roll of macrame cord, and it's 1 millimeter to use for the bracelets, and I like to use the cotton instead of the leather or the nylon. And yeah, and it was real. When I got it, I thought, gee, this is wound really, really tight. You wait till you see it. It's so funny. And the end popped off as I opened it up, and as I went to stop it, I lost my grip on the other end of it, and it popped off, and then this is what happened. This is 250 meters of 1 millimeter macrame cord that I now have to roll into a ball. Perfect. I love this macrame cord. It's beautiful and soft. It's easy to work with, but this particular spool of it just exploded. And so the girls come home from school, and I've gone, I have a job for you. So it hasn't made a massive knot or anything. It is sort of like when you get a skein of, and I'm being very gentle with it. It's sort of like when you get a skein of wool and you open it up. So we're going to get a chair, turn it upside down, and we're just going to work from it there. So it looks like a giant necklace at the moment. So yeah, be warned, if you get a piece of, a spool of macrame cord and it feels like it's packed extra tight, sit down. Open it up while sitting down. Yeah. That yeah.
Camera, it certainly did explode.
Yes, it did. It just went everywhere, and I'm just like, and I just stood there, and you know when you just get deflated by something, I'm just like, oh no. It dropped, and it was just like, oh my god. I'll have to send it to you then. Kathleen. Yeah. Neralee's like, oh great, I like doing that. It looks a little bit like Christmas lights, Tamara. Yes. It does. But I just sat it down, and I pulled out the bits that I needed, and yeah, and then it just went downhill from there. And then I started recording, and I forgot to press the record button, so I have to remake it. Yeah. So,
not a good week.
It was not a good week for me this week, but it will go up on time. It's all good. Alrighty, so this week on the Facebook group, we've had a ton of new people, and all those ladies that are in on Facebook, please do make them feel welcome. If you see that there's any questions while Beck and I are asleep, please help them out. There's a lot of new beginners that have come in this week, so they are very, very excited to be in the group. So let's show them some love and show them around and show them where everything is. And hopefully some of you have been able to come over and join us this morning on the live. And if you have, welcome. Thank you for joining our Facebook group. Thank you for joining us on the live. We really do appreciate being here, because if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here. But we try to make everybody as welcome as possible. We put up the welcome to let you know that we've seen that you've joined the group, and we hope that you're finding it informative and you're getting the help that you need. Please do ask any questions. You can personal message me through Facebook, and you can also send me a message via email. So I'm very, very much contactable. If I'm not around after 9 o'clock at night, I'm generally in bed. So basically, you can ask one of the ladies in the group, or you can send me a private message, and as soon as I wake up, I'll see that and I'll be able to answer your question. So do bear with me. We do run on Australian time. There are a lot of people that are on different in different time zones, so there'll be someone there that will be able to help you out. So while we're super excited that the group is growing and we're enjoying the influx of people, there has been some issues of late of people, Beck and I, having to remove a couple of posts because they're going against the grain of what the group's about.
And the rules.
And also the rules. They're up there in the pinned post. You'll be able to go up and have a read of those. And if you've been in the group for a while, please go and have a refresher on what they are, because they do sometimes change. I generally let you know if they have changed. But in the last couple of months, we've had some issues where we've had to remove a couple of posts because they were inappropriate. Some were inappropriate. Some were going against the grain of quilting and crafting. Mostly selling posts. There's been a few people in there that have been selling their own products or products for their friends and stuff like that. While I understand that it is a group of quilting and crafting and people might want that, when people pull you up on it and they say, I don't think that this is the group for that, and they're being very nice about it, and then you have someone attack that person, it's not a really good feel of the group, and I don't like that. That person has been removed from the group because they didn't like me pulling them up on it either. So I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to take your posts down. So just try to keep it in quilting and crafting. And in saying that, I'm not saying don't share your things of other people's or anything like that. We love seeing what you're working on. We appreciate those posts and everything like that.
That's what it's about.
And that's what it's about. We just don't want selling stuff in there. One, because it's a complete in competition with myself and Beck, who this is our business. Well, it's my business and Beck works with me, but she gets paid for the things that she sells, and we don't put up selling fabric or anything like that. We might find awesome deals on the website, on the internet, or we might let you know, like for instance, a course that I might be doing and I think other people might be interested. They will be affiliate links that we put up for those sort of things. But I generally, as a rule, I don't sell any of my own stuff. I don't push my website or anything like that. If you're making stuff or anything like that, because it's not the page for it, and as Beck is saying, it's not the page for that. It is about quilting and crafting. But if we do, Beck and I find awesome deals on the internet, we'll let you know about it. We've got a D-Stash and sales group that we do all our selling in, and there's plenty of other D-Stash and selling groups on Facebook that you can sell your items with. We just really don't want that in the group. As I said, it's more about craft. We love seeing your creations. We love seeing what you're working on by other designers and stuff like that. There's quite often we sit here and waste time looking at Facebook stuff, that when we should be working, and we ooh and ah and you know, and just, you know, you can put up, you know, for instance, if you're doing something from, I don't know, Noodlehead or I don't know, Crafty Gemini or So Sweetness or any of those, or any of those sort of ones that you're doing, or any quilting, or Pat Sloan or Angela Waters. I have no problem in putting up there that that's who it's from.
Yeah.
If the lovelies in the group are really interested, they will go and they will either look it up themselves or they will Google it and they will find the pattern. You know, you can put the name and all that sort of stuff. We're happy for that to happen, and we encourage that. We just don't want any selling in the group. And, you know, when Beck and I are being restrained and not putting up selling stuff, we sort of expect our other members to do that as well. This is the part of the group, that admin stuff, that Beck and I don't like. Yeah, so anyway. As for the affiliate links and stuff that I might add for like classes or stuff that I have found, Basically, I will put up affiliate links, but it'll only be stuff that I have used myself or products that I love. It won't be just random stuff that I find or anything like that. So you can be assured that anything that I'm putting up there for from a reputable company too. So either like Amazon, AliExpress, or what other ones? Online courses like what is it called now? It's not Crafty anymore. It's called Blueprint, and stuff like that. And all those links, I generally use my kit.com where they're all there. So you'll be able to find anything, that you'll find. Anyway, enough about that. I've done the admin part of the group, the part that I don't like, that I hate bringing up.
The dreaded part.
The dreaded part, yeah. I don't like it either. And those that have gone over to Stitch Talk too, I noticed that a few people have got over from Facebook over to Stitch Talk, and they're over there chit-chatting with lots of new creative people. It's awesome to see you over there. The group that we've got over there is starting to grow. I think we're almost to 50 people now. And there's over 1,000 or 1,500 people that are taking part with the Stitch Talk chat platform. So head over there and have a look if you haven't already. There's some amazingly talented people over there. I can't talk about it enough. And it's not all that noise and all that, like there's no advertisements, there's nothing like that. It's just pure craft over there. It's pretty much what our group is like on Facebook without all the ads and all that sort of stuff. Just also a reminder that our channel is on Australian Eastern Standard Time. So wherever you are right now, this is what time our lives generally happen. So you need to make a note of that. And yeah, we haven't missed one yet this year, have we?
No, we haven't.
No, we've been...
Even with me being away for some of them.
Yeah, and Beck's been away for a couple and stuff like that. So it's good that we haven't missed any, and we like doing them. Thanks for helping me out with getting on Stitch Talk. Awesome. So Benita's gone over there. Carol's over there. YouTube and Stitch Talk are all about that I can handle. No more Facebook for me forever. Yeah, a lot of people are getting off Facebook. I don't think it's going to disappear completely. I just think that a lot of people are just like, it is getting really, really noisy on there. And when I say noisy, I mean adverts and selling and all that sort of stuff. And I know that that's what I do as well. But like you click on something on Google and the next thing you know, your whole news feed's flooded with whatever you're looking at.
Yeah.
It's been great for me this week because it's all been about thread painting. So, yeah. Tamara, the Stitch Talk is still relatively a new platform, but it's of the same premises as Facebook, but it doesn't have all the ads, and it's all, and it is fairly new. It was around years ago, and they've restarted it up again. So go over and have a look. There's some beautiful, talented people over there. You can add friends like you do on Facebook, and you can have groups on there like you do on Facebook. What else can you do over there? You can post pictures, you can create albums. You don't necessarily have to be in a group. Like a lot of the posting that I do isn't in the group. And it's just, yeah, it's very basic. So there's no bells and whistles. It's just very basic. Yeah. I have shield away from Facebook lately. I've just found people and the quality of posts have lost spam. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Anne. It does. That's why I'm liking the group so much, because I can sort of stop a lot of that spamming stuff. And the people...
purely about...
Yeah, it's purely about craft. And like we have to approve everybody that comes into the group. And a lot of the time we get people that you can see that's all they're going to do is spam the page. Like they're only members of Craigslist ones, or what are the other ones? Buy, swap and sell.
Yeah.
Well, we had one that looked like a guy that was in the Asian military the other day. Like what?
Oh, yeah.
We have I have a set of questions that people ask. I have to get them to answer. And some people put in there, no, never done it, not interested in it. Like, I'm not going to approve those people. So I try to keep the group as clean as possible. We do occasionally have some that slip through, and then I will contact them and just say, like, this is not the group for it. And then I guide them to groups that they can sell stuff. Like, there's a massive selling quilting classifieds or something for America, and then there's Quilt Club Australia.
Yeah.
Promotions and sales is another one that you can sell quilting stuff for Australian viewers. So yeah,
Yep.
is what on to Tamara's just asking, is something on YouTube? I'm not too sure. Stitch Talk is not on. I don't think they are on YouTube, but I could be wrong.
Oh,
They do have a Facebook support group, but that's not where you share or get to know everybody. That is if you've got any problems with the website. There's no app, but I don't know if they're going to do an app. But Andy's awesome. If you've got any questions, you can just you can ask me and I can send a message to Andy directly, because he's messaged me a couple of times over on my business page. And I just can't think of his last name at the moment. Andy Chapman, is it? I don't know. Once there's if you go and look in the photos on the Facebook group, there is actually a little write-up about Stitch Talk there. I copied and pasted it from the Stitch Talk website, and it just tells you a little bit about the platform and what they're trying to do and stuff like that. That's in the photos. It's been commented on just recently, so it's probably been bumped up the page a little bit in the group, so you can always go over there and have a look. If you've got any other questions, just pop them into the chat now, and I can shoot them off to Andy, and possibly Andy could join us next week, and hopefully he's not too busy and he can join us and let us know a little bit more about it, because I'm sure he'd appreciate the feedback from you guys as well. So as I said, it is relatively new. Ellen and I were on it many years ago. And it's just great because everybody on there is into the same thing. So there's quilting on there, there's sewing, there's embroidery, there's tatting. A couple of our topics of the week in the past have come from Stitch Talk, of people that I've seen doing it. The tatting one, that was one that came from over there. Lace Lady, I think, is the one is the lady that does all the lace work and tatting over there. So go over and you can check her out. Yeah, so if you haven't, head over and have a look. I mean, as I said, it's pretty quiet at the moment, but it is starting to pick up some momentum. And we've got a quilting and crafting group over there that we've got 50 members in, and I'm more regularly posting in there. That's where I sort of found Facebook from Stitch Talk originally, because I wasn't on Facebook. In 2009, I had a Facebook account, but I wasn't actively on Facebook very much. So I found this Stitch Talk because I was looking for like-minded people. I lived out west, where I was an hour away from the closest town. A lot of the people that I knew out there weren't into quilting and crafting. I was relatively new to quilting and crafting, so I wanted to find like-minded people. I met people on my friends list like Ellen. I met Margaret Bull, and a whole lot of other ladies that were over the years have gone off Facebook and stuff like that. So I met them all on Stitch Talk originally. I also met someone that was an hour or two away from me here in Queensland on Stitch Talk back then. And then it sort of shut down and everybody came over to Facebook. And more and more people must have been asking Andy. He was the original web developer of it. So people must have been asking for him to start it back up again. So he started from scratch. It's a little bit different than last time. Very much similar, but a little bit different. And more and more people every week. And you've probably, if you've been on Facebook, he has been advertising for it over there. So Carol's saying she'll be posting more pics. No, I try to post over there every day, at least once a day. Sometimes I don't get over there, but I just post in the public forum at the moment. So you don't actually, at this point in time, you don't actually have to be friends with anybody to see their posts. And I think Andy has put in place about notifications, because I get all notifications for the website, and I get that via email. But I get them in one email, so I'll have whatever posts have come in for that day. I will only get one email, and I'll just keep adding to that email and bumping it up my email feed. So I get all posts, but I believe that you can actually monitor what you can get. You can get posts for different things. So at the moment, you don't need to be friends with everybody. I don't know if that's going to be changing, so you can see everybody's work. It is a very safe place. Everybody is lovely over there, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. And And if you haven't, go over, post some pictures. If you've been over there, Paula Bowie posted up her pictures the other day of her, what was it, Fit to Flatter course that she did over in Toowoomba.
Oh, yeah.
At the Quilters, at Highfields at Quilters Angel. So she posted her picture over there. You can create albums over there as well, which is good. So you can just put all your stuff in one spot and people can comment and you can share all your stuff. Because, I mean, as crafters, what do we like to do most? Share our stuff. Yeah. Okay, so moving on from that, retreat is in 2 weeks' time. Next Wednesday, the retreat goes public. We only have 11 tickets left.
That's for the
November 1, yes.
November retreat.
Yes, the November retreat goes on sale to the public next Wednesday at 9 a.m. Am I right? Yes, I am.
Yes,
9 a.m. goes on sale. I had to think then. But we only have 11 tickets left. So, lovelies, if you are interstate in Australia or you are overseas and you want to come to a retreat in November at the Bunya Mountains, the tickets go on sale at 9 a.m. next week. And I'm fairly confident that it's going to sell out pretty quick.
Oh, yes, I think so.
So, yeah, so just a reminder, because it's still in pre-sale at the moment to past retreaty people, and I'm just going to call them retreaties.
Yeah, they are.
They're retreaties. So basically, getting quick is all I can say. We do offer people to carpooling from the airport. We hook you up with people that can pick you up. We do offer loan machines as well, so you use my personal machine because I don't do any sewing at the retreats. So we help you out. If you are coming from interstate and you've got baggage limits and all that sort of stuff with the airplanes, we help you out as much as we can. We will find you a machine to use. We will help you do your shopping. We can put kits together for you. So if it is something that you really are wanting to come and do, you can pay your ticket off as well. So you just pay your $125 deposit and then you can do weekly installments. And because you've got 6 months, that brings it down to quite an affordable amount. All we do ask is that you have your retreat paid for in full by the 10th of October. So if you've got any questions and you don't want to ask in the public forum, shoot me an email. Poor Beck. I sent her home with soup the other day. And she's turned up, and this is how she's sitting in front of the computer at the moment. She's looking very sad. So she'll only be here for about an hour today. So, so if you've got any questions, send me a message over to askme.dds@gmail.com, and I can answer any of your questions about the retreat or about your traveling arrangements as well. I don't generally arrange tickets or anything like that, but if you need me to, just let me know and we can sort something out for you for airplane tickets. Alrighty, so on to shop news. We haven't had any supplies come in this week. I'm actually expecting some stuff, so it may turn up while we're live today. You would have noticed, which we brushed on this last week, we've got a destash and sales group on Facebook. It's DD's Destash and Sales. That's what you can search it up. We've also got our website. It is still under construction a little bit. A lot. Let's be honest. It's under construction a lot. So we have the group, and that is where we do end of bulk sales, like destashing and stuff like that. That gets it out of the shop. It's all brand new fabric. It's not my personal destash. Someone sent me a question and asked me if it was my personal destash. No, it's not. It is leftover stuff out of our shop. So if we've only got a meter left on a bolt, we'll take that off the bolt and get that bolt out. Beck and I are planning in June to sit down, and after the retreat, we just want to get that out of the way, which is the May retreat in 2 weeks. We are in June sitting down. I'm just looking at my dates here. Sitting down in June, and we are going to be sorting out our website. We're sorting out our Etsy store, and we're also we'll be posting more in the D-Stash. Not all the fabrics are up there yet, Benita. We have just been so swamped with the last 2 retreats that we just had to put it on the back burner. So we try to get as much up as we can. There are more fabrics on my Etsy store, I think, than there are on the website at this point. But then, you know, we don't have everything up. Like there is a lot of stuff in store that we still do not have up on either platform. So in June, we will be focusing on that. We will be focusing on the D-Stash group. You would have noticed that Becca's been putting up end of bolt stuff as well. And we have a new sale every week that we have, and it's Friday night specials. So last week I put up, what was her name? McKenna Ryan patterns. They've sold. They've gone. We got rid of those. Not that we're getting rid of them, but we had a sale and they were, I can't remember how much the percentage was, but they were $17.90 recommended retail. We fire sailed them out at $9.90, and one lucky lady in New South Wales picked up herself a heap of patterns. She got the Love, Hope and Faith patterns, and we've still got some of the kitty ones left. We had a couple double ups on those, so we've still got some of those left. They're listed over in the D-Stash group, so they're still sitting there.
I'll bump them up so you can all check
yeah, Beck's going to bump them up so you can check them out. And they will go down tonight, and then something new will go up in that group. So keep an eye out for that. I'm not sure what it's going to be. I was having a look today, and I've got some wool over there I think I might do, and some kits and stuff that I might do to seeing we're coming into winter in Australia. It's a good time for it. And has anybody been on the Bureau, the weather channel?
Yes.
We have an Arctic blast coming that's going to affect the whole continent of Australia this week. And I've seen the map. They've done a thermal imaging of the map. Oh, my God. It's going to be cold is all I can say. You'll see me here next week with a scarf, a big jacket. All righty.
And I'll have the electric throw blanket on.
Yeah, Beck feels the cold really bad. She's worse than me. She sits here with an electric, like, you know those electric throw blankets you could get? She has that plugged in and has that sitting over her lap. And I even have half the time have the heater going as well. So, I don't know, I've got to work something else out for Beck. All righty.
One of those snowsuits, keep going.
Michelin Man. Alrighty, it's competition time, and Anne won the competition last week. Your giveaway is on the way to you, Anne, so you will have that. And this was this week's giveaway. So we had this one go up for you, and all you had to do, I can't even remember what the question was. What was it? Oh, what do you like to do other than sewing and quilting? And the lucky winner is, drum roll please, is, and I'm sorry if I pronounce your last name wrong, Judy Rumba has won this prize. So Judy, if you are on, yes, Paula, you do need to get your deposit paid because I'm guessing there won't be any tickets. Judy, if you're watching this even on the replay, Judy likes to do Sudoku puzzles. So, yeah. It was a quite interesting one. My kids love doing Sudoku as well. So that's going to be in the mail to you, but I do need your address, hun. So if you can send your address to askme.dds@gmail.com, and I can get that into the mail for you as soon as I've got that. So congratulations. Thank you very much for watching. I'm so pleased that you've won this, and I look forward to seeing your little koala once it's made up. Alrighty, so this week's competition, in line with our topic of the week, we've been doing thread painting. So I thought I would put a little kit together for you guys. So, or for you lovelies. I've got to stop saying guys. I'm not working in a workshop anymore. So I've walked around my shop this morning, and I'm thinking, what can I give away today? So I thought, well, we'll keep it in line with our topic of the week. And basically what we want to know, what sort of embroidery have you done before? Have you done embroidery before? So if you're watching the replay, put it in the comments down below. And if you're watching the live, put it in the comments now and tell me, have you done any sort of embroidery before? And if you have, what sort have you done? So as you know, we've been covering the thread painting, and it was all by hand this week. So and last week, and this week we're actually going to be looking at machine embroidery. Now, I have done a little bit of machine embroidery. I am not an expert by any means, but I thought I'd get a little kit together. So this can be used for both. So everybody's commenting there. We've got machine and hand embroidery, hand embroidery, machine embroidery, cross stitch, machine embroidery, hand and machine embroidery. So we've all had a go at it. Awesome. So all of you that are commenting right now and those that are watching the replay will probably really appreciate this kit. Alrighty, so I've got some needles that are going to go into the kit. So they're Magic Eye needles. So we've got some of those. We have some Cosmo embroidery stranded thread. So I've got a few. What do we got? We've got five colours there. So some of your basic colours there. Got some of those. And they're Cosmo threads. They're beautiful to work with. I love Cosmo threads. We've got a little wooden bamboo embroidery hoop. And, of course, you're going to need something to store it in. So we've got this one as well. So it's a little storage container. It's got a few different compartments, smaller compartments. It also comes with some of the bobbins to wind your thread on. So that is what we've got for this week. So as you were doing, leaving your comments, if you haven't left a comment yet, leave a comment because you've got to be in it to win it. I'm leaving this competition open until next Thursday 5 p.m. So you've got all week to leave a comment, and if you have done some embroidery before, don't forget to share it over in the group because we always love to see what you've done in the past and or what you're working on. Alrighty, so we're going to move on to topic of the week. As I said, we are going to be looking at thread painting again this week, but this time by machine. So as I said, I have actually done a little bit of thread painting. I haven't done a lot, and I met a lady in 2010 that is just absolutely amazing at it. And she sort of inspired me back then to look into it, but I didn't go too far into it with little kids. My kids were a lot littler then. So I didn't really get a chance to do it and do a lot of it. But over the years, I've sort of dabbled a bit. And being a quilter, it's very similar to doing that. So I've got on and played a little bit here and there. So I thought that we'll touch on this subject. It's a little bit different than the way you do your hand embroidery, which we had some amazing artists this week. Some of those animals were just, I was absolutely gobsmacked. And the lady that I was sharing most of the week, she just floored me. And she even came over and commented on our Instagram posts, and she was absolutely lovely. And as she said, it comes from the soul. And if you haven't seen some of the stuff, head over to the Instagram page or our Facebook group, and even Stitch Talk. We put all the posts up over there. The animals and the dogs and the whiskers, as Biz was saying, those whiskers on the cat were absolutely amazing. So lifelike, and you can see that it really does come from her soul. After the live, I've got a whole heap of other pictures that I've found. I'm just trying to track down some of the artists' names before I share them. If I can't find them by 1 o'clock today, I won't worry about finding their names. But most of the stuff I found was over on Instagram. I did find a couple on Flickr, and they don't have names. It's just a picture. There's no other information there. So, I couldn't really share the names of those. So we're looking at machine thread painting for this coming week. And basically, it goes by many different names when you come into the machine thread painting. So it's known as thread painting, which is what we're talking about. Freeform embroidery, free motion embroidery, and a whole heap of other names, which I won't worry about going into, but they're just some of the names that you'll probably see. And I'm going to be sharing all the little tidbits that I find through the week, like I did with the hand thread painting. For when it started, I haven't been able to find when it started, but I'm guessing as soon as you could do quilting on like actual free motion quilting on sewing machines, I'm guessing that would probably of when it really came into play. So excuse me. So I'm guessing that's when it sort of started out. Because you can't really do it on a old machine, like unless the feed dogs drop down, you can't really do machine thread painting because you do need to be able to move it. So there are a few things that you're going to need for machine thread painting, and this is as I said, it comes by different names, and it's very similar to machine embroidery except it's freeform. So I do like, what was that? I do like to do some
words
words,
and
phrases with thread
thread
painting. Yeah. I like to do free motion applique, which is a little bit like thread painting because I use it for the words and stuff as well. So there's some of the things that you're going to need for thread painting. You're going to need an embroidery hoop. You're going to need to have a sewing machine that has the feed dogs that drop down. That's probably the most two important things. And I've done a little bit of prep work off camera this morning just to show you some of the way that you need to hoop it up. So if you're doing normal everyday hand embroidery like I'm doing here, you have your fabric over the hoop, and then you put the outer hoop around it. When you're doing when you're doing thread painting, you actually hoop it up the opposite way. So this is where you're going to be stitching on. So it's got like it's down. So this is flat. So that would be if you were doing hand embroidery. If you're doing machine embroidery, you do it the other way. Okay, so you're flipping it around. So it just hoops up a little bit different. And that's so because it'll be too high up. If you've got that sitting on the bed of your machine, it's too high up. So you need it to be the other way so the hoop is down on the bed of your machine. So that's how you hoop up for machine embroidery.
Oh my God.
What's wrong?
The husband's in the house.
Oh, God. Hello, Brendan. How are you? Okay, so yes, you do. I've got a ton of stuff that we're going to go through with this. So you got to hoop it up a little bit different, and you use this hoop because it just gives you better. Like with quilting, you've got your hands on it, and you can use the gloves. But when you're doing freeform or thread painting, using the hoop is a little bit better. It just slides a little bit better. And you've got a little bit more control over it because you are sort of moving backwards and forwards. And sometimes you can be doing short and long stitches. So that is quite difficult to do if you weren't using your hoop. And I generally don't use a hoop any bigger than this. This is a 8-inch hoop, I think, from memory. It's probably not even written on here, but this is an 8-inch hoop that I use. And I don't go much bigger than that, mainly because of my thread space. And if I'm doing a small project, I actually hoop up and then trace my design. If I'm doing a bigger project, then I trace out and then hoop it up and just move the hoop around. And if you're quilting, you can actually, if you're doing free motion quilting on your machine, you can actually hoop it up this way as well. So if you struggle moving the quilt, try it with a hoop and see how you go. It's good for free motion, like in blocks and stuff like that. So you can actually do that if you wanted to with quilting. So you can adapt it to that. So once you've got it hooped up and you've got all your design, then you've got to set up your machine. So you want to drop down your feed dogs, and you want to you can use like different threads. So you can use your regular threads if you want to. What words of wisdom is he putting up? I'm not watching because he just distracts me.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
Welcome.
Did you see Kayleen's message?
No.
The question.
No.
Do you have to adjust the tension for them for machine embroidery?
Yes, you do. So basically, when you've set your machine up, so we get to the part where we're dropping our feed dogs down. You've loaded your bobbin up. You've got your thread ready to go, and basically what you need to do is you need to actually have your bobbin set just that little bit tighter because you want to pull the top thread down to the back of your thread painting. And we don't want that on quilting, and we don't want that on, excuse me, and we don't want that with our regular sewing. So you want it to feel, I equate it to feeling like braille. Okay, so you want those little bumps on the back. So you want to bring that top thread down to the back. You want to see those little dots of color on the back. So that how you do that is you just tighten your bobbin, or you can just loosen it off up the top as well. Sometimes that can help, but I find it easier just to tighten my bobbin. Now you can use your regular threads, so just your normal sewing threads. I recommend a polyester thread because it's a little bit stronger and you're moving backwards and forwards. But some of the favorite threads that I like to use are the RA threads, so Robertson Anton, and I also like to use They're variegateds are beautiful. And I've got links down below where you can see some of them and also where you can purchase them from. That is what I use on my embroidery machine as well. But they've got a vast array of colors. They've got beautiful variegateds. And they've got some wonderful metallics as well. And they're so sparkly. I love their metallics in Robinson Anton. So go over and have a look. I put a link down below where you can, there's a pack of 12 there that you can purchase in the variegateds. They're all beautiful ones. They're one of my favorites. And just have a search around for the other ones through the link and you'll find a few more. The other one that I like to use is Wonderful Tutti, I think it's called, and also Accent and in the Wonderful, and they have some beautiful variegateds. So you can see here that the color through it is absolutely gorgeous. And the reason I like to use variegateds, this one's my favorite.
So pretty.
Yeah, they're so pretty, that one. These ones here are just slightly thicker than the Robinson Anton ones. So I like to use these for if I'm doing like flowers and stuff like that. So they are my favorite ones. I think this is a 40 weight. No, this one, sorry, is a 12 weight. One that I like. The Tutti is a 40 weight and the Robinson Anton is a 50 weight. All these ones will work. I like to use the embroidery threads because they've got a nice sheen to them and they just work for that application. There are a couple of other products that I like to use, and I use this for both hand embroidery and also for machine embroidery. So there's two products. The first one is Thread Magic. Now I use this, I run my thread through this, so my stranded embroidery thread, I run through this little wax type thing. It's a conditioner. And it just stops knotting and tangles, and it just makes it go smoother through the fabric as well. Makes it easier to thread your needle as well. So I've left links down below where you can get that. If you haven't used this before, it was a game changer for me. I do a very little hand embroidery, but I am doing a course to learn different stitches and stuff like that, and I am using the full 6 strands for some of them, and it was an absolute game changer. It's called Thread Magic. It's brilliant. It works. Yeah, the link's going. You've got the kit.com link there where I've put it off.
I've shared the kit, but I'm going to share that from the website so people can go directly to it.
Cool. So yeah, you can get that if you've never used it before. It is an absolute game changer for that. And also the other one that we've got is Sewer's Aid. Now this one here, I used to get an embroidery box and I didn't know this stuff existed. This is what I use for my machine, Carol. I use Sewer's Aid because you can put a couple of drops actually onto the spool of thread. So all I do is I've got my spool of thread, and before I start using it, and I just get a drop and then I just run it along. And I don't squeeze it or anything like that. I just let it be gravity fed and I just put a couple of dots along. And basically that thread running through that just makes all the difference. And the other thing that I use too, if I'm using metallics, I actually changed to a metallic needle. They are actually by Schmetz. I haven't actually put that up in the kit list because I couldn't find it this morning. And I was having a bit of trouble finding them. So I'll definitely put them up in there for you because they do make a big difference when you're using metallic threads, and this Sewer's Aid stuff is absolutely brilliant. Now I've had this for this been going on 3 years now, and you can see I've hardly even, like, you can't even tell, like, I've hardly made a dent in it. It is the best thing. Is the not, yeah, it is similar. I don't like the quilting beeswax for my hand embroidery. I have tried that. I didn't like it, and I also don't like it for my quilting either. This one is the better product. It is far more superior than that the blue square one. I just find this one to be far more superior, and I have used this for with my quilting cottons, with my rayons, with my stranded embroidery, and it can be used across all the applications. So I absolutely love it. I'm not even looking. Judging by the look on your face, I'm not even going to looking. So yeah, so if you haven't used that before, give it a go. Like, it is a brilliant product. I cannot talk more about this. Like, it was an absolute game changer, and so was the sewing aid, because even on my embroidery machine, so Andra, on your embroidery machine, if you have problems with, or anybody that uses their embroidery machine and you're having some issues with your metallic threads or anything, or any of your threads for that matter, get some of this Sewer's Aid. Brilliant stuff. It was an absolute game changer as well. And I used to get the embroidery box, I think it was called. I can't remember now, but that's what I got it in, and that's how I came across it. I had never heard about it. I never heard about metallic needles before, and I worked in a shop that sold embroidery stuff. So yeah, I'm just saying it's great. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Alrighty, so that's some of the things that so with your, as I said, with your tension, you have to set it, tighten your bobbin up so it brings that top thread down. And that is, don't forget to put it back after you finish doing thread painting, because otherwise your sewing and your quilting won't look the same. Do you use a thread director? No, I don't. Well, on the machine I do thread painting. I do on my embroidery machine, I have the net that goes over it. And that's all I use. I don't use anything like that. So yeah, not on my embroidery machine. On my normal machine, it's actually got a built-in thread director, so it gets threaded up that way. So it's just, and another thing too, if you are going to do thread painting, your machine really has to have the capability of holding the spool upright. It just works a lot better for some reason. Even if your embroidery machine lays down, you might actually have a situation where you go and do it on your other machine and it won't work for you. It won't do how you want to move the machine, the thread. It won't feed properly. It won't feed evenly, and you'll start to get loops on the back. So if you can get your thread to stand upright on your machine, that is the better option to do. So this week I'm going to be sharing all the little tidbits that I've talked about today, and also other tidbits that I find, because by no means am I an expert. It is very similar to quilting. So if you've done any free motion quilting on your machine before, you will definitely be able to do this. My suggestion for you is to start with your variegated threads. Reason being, you don't have to change the thread color, and go onto some kids coloring in pages on the web, on the internet. Find some of those pictures and trace them out, and then just start coloring in, and you'll get the hang of doing it. I am going to try and do a little demo video this week. I don't know how I'm going to go, but I will endeavor to do a little demo video over in the Facebook group, and I'll share that over to Stitch Talk as well. So yeah, so I'll give it a go, but I have 3 quilts to do and a large finish at Friday. So I will just see how I go. I'll give it a red hot go. Yeah, so that's about all I've got to sort of cover today. Keep an eye out on the socials for the different artists that I find. There are some amazing people out there. If I find any more tidbits that can help you out, I'll put them over in the groups as well. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of the things that I find this week. And I like the lady that I knew back in 2010 that was doing it. She used to get panels, and like landscape panels and stuff like that, and she used to actually do it on that.
Oh,
and so she'd get, hey,
time to sign off, Red's here.
Oh, is he? So basically what I like to do is just basically what she liked to do is get like metallics and different greens in different strands, like different weights of cotton and stuff like that, and just put some 3D texture to the panel. And she entered them in shows and stuff like that, and they were absolutely gorgeous. So wow. Yeah, it was the work that she used to do was amazing, and her husband used to do it as well. Oh no! And the only reason I met her is because she came in to see Greg to get her machine. She had 3 machines that she used. And she used them for different applications across the thread painting. But if you've never done it before, go grab yourself, you know, those cushions that you can get, or panels that have landscapes on it. Go grab one of them. The picture's already drawn out for you. You're just going to put some texture to it, and that's where this will bleed over into art quilts and stuff like that. So our next topic that we'll cover next week will be art quilts. So this is where this is sort of leading now. So we'll move over into that sort of stuff. So where you're doing collage and you're adding beads and all that sort of stuff. So it's different ways of doing things. So that's our topic of the week. It sounds like a very in-depth one.
Yeah.
And art quilts is even more in-depth. If you haven't tried these products before, grab some for yourselves. They're awesome. They are a game changer. And if you're a hand embroiderer, this Thread Magic you can use on your machine. You can run your cotton through the machine as well. You can also use it for hand sewing and all the rest of it. So that's pretty much it for this week. If anybody's got any more questions, just drop them in the link now. We've got a fair bit of stuff to cover. Okay, so I think I answered that. Is it the same as beeswax? No, it's slightly different. It's more of a thread conditioner, this one, than hang on, I've got so that's what the packet looks like. And I'm just having a look here. It strengthens the thread, eliminates static, it stops it from tangling and fraying, and does not melt or freeze. And it's safe to use for all threads. So basically, yeah, you can it's just a thread conditioner. And basically it's I mean, I don't know if those percentages are right, but I'd have to agree. It does stop the drag through the fabric, and it stops hand fatigue because it makes it easier to get the thread through the fabric. So I guess it would. I don't like the beeswax for quilting. I never have. So I would prefer this over it. Are we in for a guest tutorial? Is Brendan coming?
He said he was. He said he's dropping in to get some tools.
Oh, okay.
That's why I said time to...
Oh, no. Deary me. King of Toe, is your question in relation to sewing or crafting? What question did he ask?
He said, no, smells. He's already asked the smell question.
Oh, my goodness.
That's enough.
Alrighty. Well, that's about it for us today. I can't see any more questions that are popping out, but I'll go back through and... I'll go back through the chat and have a look, and I'll put those questions down and answer them next week. So that's it from us today. Beck's going to, I don't know what Beck's going to do. I think she's going to curl up and go to sleep with a quilt in the background. I'm going to go and get stuck into loading up a quilt in the long arm machine and finish off doing what I've got to do for the retreat, and I will see you all again next week. And Beck said,
happy Mother's Day to all
the
mothers. Is it just Australia?
I don't know. Happy Mother's Day to everybody in Australia for Sunday. And Brendan, that's your reminder that it's Mother's Day on Sunday. So if you haven't got me anything, you need to go and get something.
Me too.
And Beck put her hand up. All right, lovelies. I will see you around the socials, and I'll see you all at 10 o'clock next Friday for our weekly, yes, this Sunday, Brendan. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. I hope that you get spoilt rotten, and have a lovely week and weekend, and we'll see you all again next time. That's it from me. Bye for now, and bye. From Beck.